In the heart of the city, danger lurks around every corner. One innocent mistake could lead to deadly consequences. Even what you wear could be the difference between life and death. Think twice before wearing merch of a sports team you root for.
You wearing a white tee?
Sure, don't have on no jewelry.
Don't have on no hat. Don't have on no ball cap.
Yeah, ball cap, looks like an LA cap.
There are some gangs that rule the streets, and they have their eyes on your sports caps. It's not just about which team you support, it's about which side you're on. This is a story about which sport caps will get you killed. So, you better watch out. This is Crime Site. The Golden Pittsburgh Pirates Cap. There's something you should know about the Golden Pittsburgh Pirates Cap insignia. It's a symbol that has taken on a new meaning among a certain group of individuals. Members of the Primera Flats street gang in South Central Los Angeles have adopted it as their own. This might come as a surprise to those who don't know much about the area. After all, the Primera Flats gang may not be one of the largest or most well-known in the city, but what they lack in size, they make up for in control. Their influence is felt in wide portions of the area, with members frequently congregating in or near Trinity Park. The thing is, this isn't just a place for hanging out. It's also been the site of multiple gunfights between rival sets over the last 30 years. So, if you happen to be a Pirates fan, or just like the way the hat looks, you might want to think twice about wearing it in this area. It's not just a fashion statement anymore. It could potentially make you a target, and in this part of the city, you don't want to take any chances. Michigan Wolverines cap. Let's talk about Main Street Mafia Crips and their fancy Wolverines football caps with an M insignia. Looks like they're trying to look stylish while committing heinous crimes. Who'd want to associate themselves with a ruthless gang that shoots first and asks questions later? And let's not forget their unique approach to identifying their targets. Just wait until they're bleeding out on the pavement and then figure out who they are. These guys are just one of the many Crips cliques in LA that give the city a bad reputation. And if you thought they would be friendly with the Bloods, well, think again. These two gangs have been at each other's throats for ages, and they're not about to make peace anytime soon. So, if you're walking around with a Wolverines hat with an M insignia in LA, you might want to be careful, especially if you happen to spot a Bloods label while you're wearing that hat. Run for your life. You don't want to be caught in the middle of a gang war. Trust me. Now, before diving into some more lethal fashion, attack that subscribe button to never miss out on our true crime content again. Maybe someday, one of our videos will save your life. San Francisco 49ers cap. The San Francisco 49ers football hat. It's hard not to love the black, red, gold, and white logo. But did you know that it's often associated with the notorious Mad Swan Family Bloods gang? That's right. The SF in the logo is said to stand for Swan Family, the name of this American criminal street gang that can be found in California, Virginia, New York, Texas, and Colorado. Also known as the Bird Gang, the Mad Swan Family Bloods originated on the east side of South Los Angeles, and it's no joke that they're one of the most violent blood gangs in the US. Despite having smaller numbers compared to some other gangs, their brutality is unmatched. Their sworn enemies were the Crips in the 1970s, and the Mad Swan Family Bloods' LA territory was constantly surrounded by enemies. But somehow, they managed to not only survive, but thrive. Many believe that their survival and spread throughout America is due to the sheer brutality and ruthlessness of their lifestyle and reputation. With an estimated 2,000 active members in Los Angeles alone and 6,000 members nationwide, sporting a 49ers crest will drastically increase your chances of getting caught in the crossfire. So think twice before donning that hat, my friend. It might be the best to just stick with a plain old beanie, or better yet, a foam cheesehead hat for your next football game. At least that one won't make you a target for one of America's most violent gangs. Seattle Mariners baseball cap. Listen up, folks, because we're about to dive into one of the most dangerous sports caps out there. This isn't your typical friendly neighborhood baseball cap. No, we're talking about the Seattle Mariners baseball cap, and let me tell you, it's not for the faint of heart. Why is it so dangerous, you ask? Well, that's because it's an official part of the Roland 60 Neighborhood Crips street gang's uniform, and if you're not familiar with them, Let me give you a quick rundown. The Rollin' 60s are a massive gang with over 10,000 members spread out across 14 states nationwide. They control a whopping 5 square miles in the city of Los Angeles alone, and they're widely considered one of the largest, deadliest, and most ruthless gangs in America. These guys are notorious for their long list of horrendous crimes, including arson, armed robbery, drug trafficking, aggravated assault, extortion, and even murder. And what's more, they've been around since the mid-1970s and show no signs of slowing down. Now, let's talk about the Seattle Mariners baseball cap. You see, the S on the cap stands for 60s or 60th Street, a road that borders the Rollin' 60s massive territory in the Crenshaw district of LA. And it's not just any old baseball cap, it's an official part of the Rollin' 60s uniform, meaning that if you're caught wearing one of these bad boys, you're in for a world of trouble. This baseball cap has such an atrocious reputation for violence that it's been banned at all local schools in the gang's hometown, as well as most public areas. Local law enforcement even refers to it as the death cap. And if that doesn't scare you, civilians caught wearing a Seattle Mariners baseball cap usually find themselves in an early grave, either by enemy gangs or Rollin' 60s members themselves. But the Rollin' 60s hatred isn't just limited to their hometown. Due to the group's age and rapid national expansion, their brutal reputation has spread throughout each of the 23 heavily populated U.S. cities that they currently reside in. So, if you're thinking about sporting a Seattle Mariners baseball cap anywhere in America, you better think twice. It could be the worst decision you ever make. The Seattle Mariners baseball cap might look innocent enough, but don't let it fool you. It's one of the most dangerous sports caps out there, and wearing it could put you in harm's way. Stay safe out there and choose your caps wisely. Dallas Cowboys baseball cap. The last cap we've got is the Dallas Cowboys baseball cap. This iconic sports team has become the calling card of the Rollin' 80s West Coast Crips, one of the most notorious gangs to ever come out of Long Beach. With a history spanning back to the 1980s and 90s, the Rollin' 80s have cemented their reputation as one of the most violent and feared gangs in Southern California. They're notorious for engaging in all sorts of nefarious activities, from muggings and shootouts to execution-style murders and hit killings. These guys aren't playing around. But what sets them apart from other gangs is their use of the Dallas Cowboys logo on their hats. It's a clear and unmistakable signal to other members of the gang that they're part of the Rollin' 80s crew. And if you're not careful, wearing a Dallas Cowboys hat in the wrong part of town could land you in some serious hot water. But don't just take our word for it. The gang has faced numerous gang injunctions over the years and has even been in a perpetual state of war with other gangs in Long Beach. This is not a group to mess with, but this is just the beginning. There are still more caps that could mean danger wearing them. Let us know in the comments if you want us to make a second part. See you in the video on the right side of your screen.